Hey guys, welcome to another YouTube video. Yes, even Topaz agrees. Hello. Today we're going to be looking at Xbox. It sounds like they are reducing the prices. So let's take a deeper look into this and see what's going on. I'm quite excited to see.
Xbox is rolling back the price change.
Were they originally going to do like the Nintendo's prices? If so, that's gross.
It's not every day that the little David takes on the Goliath of Xbox and comes out ahead, but Microsoft and Xbox and all their studios are announcing the gaming changes that they should say the pricing changes they announced earlier this year. They're not going to be sticking, so let's just dig in here. So this is going to apply to everything we'll talk about.
I am so happy that Xbox is not going through with those stupid $79.99 American, let you alone, price tags. So the $69.99, if I'm correct, comes to $89.99 Canadian, and after taxes, it's just above $100 for a game, which is still bloody expensive, but it's a lot better than $115 to like $120 what it could have been if it was an additional $10 American.
Here, but the Outer Worlds has announced that hey, games are no longer going to cost $80. Instead, they're going to stay to $70. And that's a pretty big deal because Microsoft came out earlier this year.
And it's kind of sad too because with Nintendo bringing games up $20 American, companies could do what Xbox is doing, like, oh yeah, we're gonna go to $80 as well, and then do an Uno reverse and be like, you know what, we'll just stick with actually the $69.99 instead of the $59.99, which I believe is the normal or how it's been for a while in America. So they're still looking like the good guys, but they're still making bigger profit. I still think the price increase is a bit stinky.
And said their holiday launch games are going to be $80 a piece. Now, this matches a strategy that Nintendo has gotten away with, at least with the Switch 2. And
how much you guys want to bet that Nintendo's going to be super cheeky and in a couple years they're going to increase the price even more?
Microsoft's like, well, we're going to pick up those extra 10 bones.
Like Animal Crossing, I could see them putting it up in an additional like $10 or like Smash Bros.
Their dollar dues every time somebody buys one of our first party titles for, and they're not in Game Pass, so $80 it is. And then this led to speculation that Game Pass pricing would go up and a whole bunch of other stuff.
I really hope Game Pass doesn't go up in price. It's already, if you get the Game Pass Ultimate, that's already at like $25 a month Canadian, which is a lot of money. If it ends up going above that, it's going to be hard for me to justify spending that. I might go down a tier to just the Xbox only. I'll miss out on day one exclusives, but at the same time, I'm saving like $12 a month.
However, they announced today that like they're rolling that pricing back, which it doesn't take a lot of logic to jump to the conclusion I'm going to jump to here is that pre-orders probably were not meeting expectation and that the backlash did potentially have impact. Now,
oh man, I hope that backlash did have a huge impact. Companies need to learn that they can't just be a bunch of dingleberries and expect people to be just suck their dingleberries, you know?
someone will say, Brad, this is actually a 4D chess move. They said they're going to raise prices. Here they are dropping prices and getting you to talk about their pre orders yet again. That is entirely plausible.
Oh, absolutely.
However, we've seen how Xbox maneuvers and Microsoft itself maneuvers. I'm not going to give them that much credit. I think it aligns to that pre-orders were not meeting expectations, and they believe that the higher price is really playing into that. And so the calculus comes out and says, if we lower the price, we'll get another PR wave, and hopefully more people will then pre-order or go out and buy the game, and we should be good and get things back onto the track of where we expect. However, there's also the very realistic fact that like everything is getting more expensive and the consumer continues to get squeezed and squeezed and squeezed until
I think we will with a lot of things becoming so expensive. I think there will be a lot less pre-orders because people are going to become very picky with their money and be like, "Oh, well, I can afford this game, let's say, but I also have to focus on rent and all this other stuff. That's actually more important than games. I'm not going to pre-order this game until it comes out and I know that the game's actually worth buying." So people used to be able to pre-order and not have to worry about it as much, but in this day and age, people have to definitely be a little bit more picky on what games they can afford to purchase.
we eventually pop, and that's called a recession. Let's hope that doesn't happen anytime soon. But price inflation has been a very real thing, and so maybe like gaming is that premium thing that is really going to start to kind of claw back, or starting to show the cracks. Like an extra $10 for a game is actually too much, and so there you go. Now, they did give out a statement to a lot of the press, and I grabbed Windows Central because I like Jazz over there at Windows Central. And they said, Microsoft said, we're focused on bringing players incredible worlds to explore, and we'll keep our full priced holiday releases, including The Outer Worlds 2, at $69.99, in line with current market conditions, credited to an Xbox spokesperson. So,
I'm very curious to see if PlayStation's going to do the same. I haven't done any research if they are planning on bringing their games to $80 American, or if they're going to stick it with the 70 like Xbox, but we'll have to wait and see. Unless they've already talked about it, I just don't know the information. Chat, let me know.
It's a shift. I want to point out, too, that Microsoft earnings, by the way, are happening on July 30th. So next week from the time of this recording here. I will be gone on vacation, so I will not be covering that at my usual timeline. It'll probably be about a week later. But I'm wondering if this
Have a good vacation, my good sir.
all kind of plays into that as well, because, right, they're going to come out and part of me is like Xbox revenue and everything else is extremely important, but also at the same time, they don't really talk too much about Xbox console sales
I wonder how Game Pass is going to do, because I heard that Game Pass isn't the most profitable right now.
at all. Game Pass figures really in any meaningful way, just the service revenue as it all bundled up. So, anyways, prices are rolling back. That is a good thing for you, dear consumer, if you're not paying for Game Pass. And there you go. So, the little guy won for once, but maybe it was just a little bit of an artificial win.
Oh, I'm sure it was a bit of an artificial win. Next thing, I really hope they drop the console prices, because that is that's a little bit of a stink, having to raise the prices of a 5-year-old console, or however old it is at this point. But yeah, no, I think it's really good that they dropped it a bit, even if it is probably artificial, just trying to make it seem like they're being nice. But
so I don't know. There you go. I was going to end it right there, but then I forgot to say, the BS on this channel is me.
You are a load of BS, good sir. Yes. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on Xbox rolling back the price tags on their games from $80 American to $70 American. And yeah, I think it's good. I would obviously prefer the original $60 American, but it is what it is. It sucks. And if you can't afford gaming with the pricing they're at now, I would highly recommend trying to stick with indie games. Just that would be your best bet. Part of me has also stopped purchasing as many AAA games. I'm trying to go more indie. I feel like there's a lot of indie games that are really good, and they're a lot cheaper and better quality than what you can get for AAA games nowadays. So definitely explore your gaming genre a little bit sometimes, and you might find a hit. I would highly recommend the game Tunic. That's an incredible game. And yeah, so I hope you guys have a good one. God bless, and catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.